Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a brand new Realm News. I am your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in Realm and expands your mind one block at a time. And this week is all about a Minecraft movie. Yes, it is. If you have been listening, then you know that a couple days ago on Tuesday on Realm News Flash that I provided my late night opinion on the film a couple hours after I watched it at the local AMC theater. Well, now I'm here to deliver on what I promised you all in that Realm News Flash. A deep dive into a Minecraft movie with special guest NightSteak. I went with my girlfriend Gaia Devine to the Friday night release at the 6:15 p.m. show. NightSteak went to the Saturday night show, and then we recorded this together on Sunday. I will warn you right now, there will be spoilers. So spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, I recommend that you pause this and go see the movie, or wait for it to come out on streaming and then hit the resume button to this episode, and nothing will be spoiled for you. Unless you don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and listen to what we have to say. Maybe pop some popcorn and find a comfy spot to chill and listen to the show. I hope you all enjoy it. Without further ado, let's begin. I say welcome back. It's good to have you on the show again. How have you been?
I gotta say thanks, man. It's great to be back on the show. And I've been pretty great, honestly. I've been doing a ton of research around the movie but before and after I watched it, and so I've got a lot to talk about today. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to talking with you, and you did send me a lot of information. I could tell you've been doing a lot of research on this. So today, we're going to have a good long show. I can already feel it. It's going to be a good lengthy show for
Oh,
everybody.
for sure.
There's a lot to unpack about this movie. This movie's already a blockbuster hit. I read in one of my articles this morning that it's already projected to be one of the top 30 gross domestic rated earning movies of all time. It's crazy. I think in the first day it earned almost $50 million. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about here. It's a huge movie, and I wanted to start with the basics here. NightSteak,
All
you
right.
went to the movie. When was it that you went to the movie?
So I didn't actually get to see it on an opening night, which is Friday or Thursday for some people. I guess
Hmm.
in Europe or whatever, they got it a week earlier. But I actually ended
Yeah,
up just seeing it yesterday.
can we pause there for 1 second? I'm so
Oh
sorry.
yeah, of course.
I was Silent Whisper. You know them on Twitter. They make all
I
the videos of.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen some of their posts.
Okay. Well, they were going to go see it on Thursday, and I said it releases on the 4th. Like, and they said, "Well, it releases here today." I'm like, "What?" I was
Yeah,
jealous.
I think some states got it early or some theaters got it early, but, yeah, the official release date was on the, 5th.
Okay.
Kinda weird they
So
did that.
when was it you went?
So, I actually ended up going on Saturday, because I wanted to see it with my parents. Like, right now, I'm living back at home now because 'cause I'm going to a community college, so, both my parents came along, and, Saturday was just the best day for everyone. So yeah, we went around the afternoon. So honestly, I wasn't expecting that many people. Like we live kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but
Yeah.
theater was almost packed. It was crazy.
Was it really? Okay, I was going to ask you about that because I went on the Friday night release, and we went to the 6:15 p.m. viewing. And when I'll just tell you our little experience real quick.
Mhm.
My girlfriend and I walked. First off, we couldn't find parking. It was jam packed, and 6:15 is relatively early for a Friday night movie, you know.
Uh,
And, and so I was shocked by that. And then when we went into the theater itself, it was jam packed, and there was a long queue from the popcorn vendor to the bar section of the AMC theater. So it was crazy. We saw people dressed as Steves. um they had a merchandise stand out with shirts, popcorn buckets, and other things that you typically don't see put out for movies in this theater. So to me, just the lobby was, you could tell it was going to be a big ordeal. So could you tell me, what were the vibes in your local theater when you first entered?
So the place was definitely packed, like surprisingly so, because especially like around 4 p.m., it just sort of felt like a weird time. But
Yeah.
honestly, there wasn't any people that were dressed up or costumed or anything, which is kind of strange because I've seen tons of videos where at least like someone's dressed up like Steve. But
Yeah.
as far as I could tell, everyone was dressed normally. Some girl had a Minecraft hoodie, like a creeper hoodie, but I think that
Okay.
was the extent of it.
So not as festive as what I experienced.
Nah, nowhere near that.
Ha- have you
How many
seen the
people did you
vibe?
see? Was it a whole crowd of them or like a group of them?
It wasn't a group, and I was going to ask you about that because there's a lot of viral videos. I don't want to discuss Mr. Beast. I'm not a fan of him because, and
I'm with
plus,
you
he
on
did
that.
it after the fact. There was already a group of people going around New York City dressed as Steves, which was really funny. But no, this was just two guys, which I thought was really cool. Still, but no,
Honestly,
it wasn't a whole group or anything. And but there was a lot of people with Minecraft hoodies on, and there was just, I don't know, they were just a lot of fans. You could tell they were fans of Minecraft.
no, yeah. No,
So
honestly,
what?
like I'm kind of glad that there wasn't all that many people like true like fans like or like fanboys, fangirls kind of like that were like being like louder and loud and everything.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
feel like there was like a lot more adults there, which was kind of weird, but at the same time, it was kind of nice because theater was a lot more quiet than I was expecting.
Was it, so the theater room itself, was it packed?
Yeah, no, it was like pretty full. We had to get some tickets ahead of time, and all the seating was assigned. And honestly, like by the time the movie started, pretty much all the seats were full.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And was it? You said it wasn't that loud in there.
Yeah, no, it's like I honestly thought there'd be like more people like shouting and stuff. Especially because like most people like came into this like not taking the movie seriously, or at least that's what they were saying. Like they weren't expecting too much, and they thought it was gonna be a so bad it's good movie. But
That's
like
interesting.
honestly, yeah, it's I feel like a lot of people like actually enjoyed the movie. Like they were laughing and everything, but it was nice that there wasn't a shouting. I mean, obviously it's funny, but I wanted to like go there and take notes and like actually just experience the movie without getting distracted. So it was nice for me.
No, that is good for you that you're able to take notes. I wasn't, and I told my girlfriend ahead of time. I said, "I'm not taking notes for this because it's going to be. I'll just going to try to pay attention to it." And I told her, I said, "As soon as I get home, though, I'm gonna have to record or something, and to get it, like, my ideas out." And I did. I tried to type up some of my notes as soon as possible so it's fresh in my head. Um, and my theater was really loud. That's funny that yours was quiet. And I don't know, I was going to ask this to you, kind of jumping a few of my initial questions, but like the intro, did you have a lot of people like quoting the memes? Like, I yearn for the mines, because when that first, like in the intro, everybody, it shocked me. It felt like I was in a cathedral. Everybody at once unanimously said, "I yearn for the mines." Like,
What?
I was like, "Oh my god." I looked around, I was like, "Whoa, that was weird." And then it continued, like certain lines, like chicken jockey. When he said chicken jockey, everybody at once, chicken jockey. I was like, "Whoa."
That's
Did you
actually the
have that?
craziest thing ever because not a single person like I was paying attention for those lines like to see how the crowd would react and not I don't think a single person laughed at the I yearn for the mines line. And
Really?
yeah, nobody shouted anything. Like and there was like little kids there too, so I was honestly pretty impressed.
That's
It's like that's
shocking to
crazy that
me.
like your group there was completely different.
My girlfriend said she's never experienced anything like that in her life, and I've been to opening night movies, but and I've been to movies in the past where that the crowd is engaged with the movie, like legitimately engaged, but I've
Mhm.
never been to one this engaged. And I told her, I said it felt like a cult. Like, no, and it was amazing because, I love Minecraft too, but this was surreal. Everybody literally, because my girlfriend even asked, she goes, how do they know what to say, when to say it? I said, I don't know. It's like some beehive mentality going on here. And I said, maybe some of these kids went and saw it like the matinee, and now they're coming back again and 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 they know what to expect. I'm not sure. It was wild, man.
I mean, for the lines that I've heard people like say, like you were saying earlier, the chicken jockey and I yearn for the mines. Those were in the trailers, I think. So a lot
Yeah,
of
they
people
were.
were expecting them and were just waiting for those lines to come.
But some of the songs, like some of the kids were singing it. Like
Wait, really?
I was like, how do they know this? Because I've been researching this since day one, like the first trailer for over a year now. I've been reporting on this on Realm News, and I've never seen some of this information. And I'm like, where did these kids get this? Like,
It's crazy that they knew the songs because yeah, I don't think those were released with the trailers or anything like that.
I think they were just in sync with the movie, and it just passed just subliminally through them, and when they were like, okay, man. Enough about we gauged the atmosphere. Your theater was a little bit more quiet than mine, but I also went on the opening night. I have to ask, what's the population of your town?
So I actually live like in the absolute middle of nowhere. We have to. So it's called like an unincorporated community. We got like 50 people that live here, but
Gotcha.
yeah, no, we have to drive out some distance to actually get to the place. But the area around that, there's a few suburbs and that whatnot. So there's honestly a lot of people there. So it's
Mhm.
not that surprising that the theater was packed, but I've never seen it that full before because usually most people, like even I saw the Force Awakens on opening weekend. Or wait, that was the
Nice.
first Star Wars sequel, right?
I think it was.
Yeah, probably. But I saw that on I think probably opening night or opening weekend, and there was like the theater was pretty much empty. Like there was a few people there. So usually we never even like for opening nights or opening weekends we never get a big turnout. So this was honestly crazy seeing all those seats full.
Well, nice. Okay, cool. No, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. And I was actually shocked by how full this theater got because my town, I'm up in Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, and it's a population of 40,000 people. And so that's still a relatively small city, you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
And I myself, I'm not from here originally. I come from almost unincorporated town of it's 700 people, not far off from 50. But not, I mean, you know what I mean? It's not too
Yeah,
far off
no.
from that. But okay, man, let's dive into this. The show, it it means business. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't linger long on scenes. It opens up and we're immediately drawn into Idaho in short order into the overworld. What were your initial thoughts on our introduction to Jack Black playing Steve NightSteak? I'm curious. What were your initial thoughts?
All right, so this might be a little controversial, but I'm honestly not a
Probably.
big fan of Jack Black's style of humor. But
Hmm.
honestly, like a lot of his lines did actually have me laughing. It was a lot better than I expected. So, especially in the beginning, like him working at the office job was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like that scene.
Yeah, let's explore that a little bit because I know that, like I said, these scenes were pretty quick. The opening scene, isn't it like him as a kid getting chased out by the cranky old man?
And then when he
And
comes back, the old man's the exact same age.
yeah, that. And by the way, people, there are spoilers. I know I've already said that in the intro to the show, but there will be a lot of spoilers in this. So
Yeah.
if you haven't watched the movie yet, go watch it. If you like spoilers, then keep listening. But yes, night steak. That was crazy. The old I did love how what like a 80-year-old man still mining, by the way, at the like even at the beginning when Jack Black was a young kid, when Steve was a young kid, that man should not have been mining.
Yeah.
And then when Steve was 50, um, that old man still hasn't aged a day in his life.
The
And he's still
funniest thing
mining.
is I checked the I don't know if it's called IMDb or something. Might have been somewhere else, but apparently this guy's got no previous acting career. This is like the first movie he starred in, so I think that's
That's
pretty funny that
awesome.
they might have just pulled out a random guy to do this.
That awesome. And I wonder if they hired him locally from New Zealand because I know all that was shot down there in New Zealand.
That's honestly so crazy. Like I was thinking about that pretty much the whole time. Like, how did they make it look so much like America? And like they did a pretty good job of it too. Like you couldn't tell that it was shot in New Zealand at all.
Yeah, no, yeah, you really couldn't, and they did. No, I have to agree with you. They did a great job, and we'll get into the scenery stuff here in a bit because I do want to break down how they did the scenery or what we know about it and what we think about it. I want to know your so you not a huge fan of Jack Black, and I also will have to say I've never really been a huge fan of his acting, but I was also I have to redact what I said in previous episodes because I really wasn't a fan of Jack Black having the role of Steve. I just wasn't. And I'll have to say after watching this, I'll say that Jack Black did a good job. And I'm okay with him being Steve now for these Minecraft movies that they're making. I feel like it's okay. So big change for me. So, and I can relate with you, NightSteak. I was very skeptical, and so I'm happy to say that that he did a okay job in my opinion, or he did a good job. It was funny. He made me laugh. That whole office scene, I think, hits like a lot of adults can relate to that. I
Yeah,
know I
no,
can at
it's
work.
honestly, yeah. He on there was still some jokes. I can't like recall them directly, but some of them did make me cringe. Or like when he was just like saying like some like word or phrase just loudly, and then like that was supposed to
Mm.
be funny. I didn't really like those moments as much, but there was a lot of times when he was just genuinely like really funny, and I wasn't expecting that, so I was pretty pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of I don't know, some of the humor was I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be gauged more for just young kids or if that was just his how Jack Black is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like you got to be coming into it expecting that it's going to be a kids movie. So, like, we
Mhm.
can critique it, but in reality, we're adults talking about a movie based on a kids' block game. So,
E exactly. Exactly. And that's why I'll go ahead and say this, and that's why I rated it on Twitter and on Blue Sky. I gave it 8 out of 10, 10 being the highest score, because just from the energy of the crowd in the theater, all the kids loved it. And like I said, they knew every line on opening night, and they were hysterical. Like, they loved it. And so I say, great job, Mojang and Warner Brothers, because kids loved it. It seems like they hit their goal. What do you think?
honestly, yeah. It's there was a lot of kids in the theater. I think they had like a school there or something. I don't even know, but there was just a whole crowd of them just like sitting together. So
Mhm.
and they did seem to like it a lot. So I do think like I didn't watch it with any kids myself. Like my little cousins were thinking of coming, but they couldn't make it. So
Mm.
I don't actually have a kid that I talked to about this yet. But from honestly, if I was a kid and I saw that, I think I would have liked it a lot. But the one thing that I was considering before I watched the movie, and I wanted to sort of keep note of, was like, would this movie be a good kids movie for a kid that's never played Minecraft before? And after
Mhm.
watching the movie, I honestly think it would be. Like, it's nothing's too confusing. Like they explain everything that's going on. So
Mhm.
honestly, yeah, I think it would be a good kids movie by itself, even without Minecraft.
I agree with you. Let's get into the movie a little bit further by breaking down these characters. Let me read off a list here, and then we'll kind of discuss. I have a few questions to ask you of these characters.
Got you.
Um, So we have Jason Momoa, the actor who plays Garrett the Garbage Man. Garrison, a former video game champion from the 80s who gets transported to the overworld with the rest of these people. Then we have Emma Myers, who plays Natalie, one of the four misfits pulled into the overworld. And she's the sister to Henry. Then we have Daniel Brooks, who plays as Dawn. She is the real estate agent, but she's also the actress from Orange is the New Black and in The Color Purple. Then we have Henry, who's played by Sebastian Eugene Hansen, who's the younger brother to Natalie and kind of the mainish character, I would say, in this story. So, my friend, I have to ask you, who was your favorite character in this highly grossing film and why?
So overall, I gotta say Jennifer Coolidge as the principal, but
Oh, I
for the
forgot her. My
yeah,
gosh.
well, she's not really a main character, so I don't think I'd count her. But like, if we're just counting all characters, yeah, I'd definitely go for her. But from the main heroes, I think Jason Momoa playing Garrett was probably the best. He was just he felt a lot more real than the others, like an actual relatable person. Everyone else sort of felt like a little bit like two-dimensional kind of, but I think
Mhm.
his character was pretty well fleshed out. I mean, they spent a lot more time going over him than they did most others. Henry had an arc, but yeah, Garrett's was probably the longest.
Yeah, all the other characters, their arcs were either just completely flat, so not really an arc, or they were so simple you couldn't really even tell. Like Henry's arc was very simple, and then you have the garbage. I agree with you 100%. I mean, the beginning of the movie is pretty much all centered around the garbage man's life being a dumpster fire,
Oh yeah,
and
I
and
thought it was
him
hilarious that
just
he was just surviving off the meat from the meat company that was still sponsoring him.
yeah, I I forgot about that. He was, wasn't he?
He was
I
just
for
frying it up over a just over a stove like with a fork in it. It was hilarious. I
I
love that
forgot all
scene.
about that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And what was his store exactly? Was that just a video game or was that like a full-on thrift shop?
It looked like some sort of like used game store. So it's honestly like I was looking around at that and the orbit dominance and the what was it, the earth crystal, those were
Mhm.
pretty much the only things that didn't look like technology there. So I guess he just I figure like if he's doing these sort of what are they called? I'm blanking on storage sales. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, I figure he's got to be selling some stuff, but it looks like he's mostly focused on the games.
That was I forgot about the storage wars type
That part was hilarious too.
homage to Storage Wars. That was pretty funny. I wasn't expecting that to be incorporated into the show. But no, I did like seeing his store. That's funny though that he was eating sponsored meat. Yeah, he was just stuck in the 80s. He was stuck in his prime. He hit his prime early in life.
Yeah, it's honestly like that's like really good character for a small town, and I feel like there's a lot of people like that like because the thing is like he's really well known. Like the principal remembers him. There were some other people that just like remember him even after they haven't seen him for a
Mhm.
while, probably. So it's like people know who he is and like why he's famous. So I think it's pretty funny that he's a small town legend just for winning. What was it like? I forget his title.
Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
what was
no.
his title? I don't have that written down either. It was I should have had that written down, but no, it was funny. And you're right. It is a trope for small town. Um for sure, like just the person kind of living there, kind of in line with people that relive their glory days of high school, you know, and
Oh yeah.
and that was like their best part of their life. Well, for Gargar, as Jack Black's character Steve calls him, yeah, his prime was the video game championship of
It
like
was
80 something.
Game of the Year award for 1989. Just
Nice.
looked it up.
Heck yeah. What was the game he won again? I can't remember that either.
I don't remember. Oh wait, I'm blanking on the name of that too. But like whatever
It
it
was
was,
garbage.
it was a fictional game like that they designed and made the arcade stand for too, just for the movie.
Yeah.
I think the other machines were real and they were just like props in the background, but that one was like yeah, just completely made up.
No, I thought that was cool because I saw a picture of Jens Bergensten. Why am I'm drawing blanks today too? I think it's because it's Sunday. The director Hess, Jared Hess, was playing it, and then The like marketing director for Mojang. I can't remember his name right now, but they were all playing it. That photo, I retweeted that yesterday, I believe. But that was that was really cool to learn that they developed that arcade game for this movie. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It was
And
clearly
I
like meant to be an homage to like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, like one of those older
yeah,
style like beat 'em up games.
yeah,
But yeah, I think
yeah.
it's pretty cool that they made their own one for this.
What did you think of the garbage man's attire?
I honestly thought it was hilarious. Like, and the fact that he just like he really managed to pull it off too. Like, I feel like if anyone else in the cast was like dressed like that, they'd look ridiculous. But he really did manage to pull it off, just because how serious the character took himself.
I was so I gave so much criticism towards Jason Momoa when I first saw the characters in the first trailer. I was like, "What the heck is this?" And yeah, he pulled it off. I'll agree with you on that. I grew to like this character too. Honestly, you would have to say, wow. Which I'm going to say this: I'm not a huge fan of Jason Momoa's acting, really either. I mean, you can't really expect much from I guess, a WWE um, star coming
I
into
didn't even know he
acting.
did that. Like, I cannot remember a single Jason Momoa movie which I've watched. It's like
Yeah,
it's just one of those like big names like The Rock that you just like know, or like Kevin Hart. Like they just throw them in the movie just because like they know it's going to get people to watch the movie, and I just automatically think like, yeah, no, this is going to be a flop if you just have to get big names to make it work.
I know. Yeah, that's why I was thinking initially too with this. I was like, I just thought this was a cash grab by Mojang, but
Oh yeah.
it appears that they made something that appeals to the audience and they love it. And so, hat off to them. They hit a note. But yeah, Jason Momoa, I remember seeing. I think the first time was in Game of Thrones when he played what Drogo.
Hmm.
In that, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you would remember him. And what else? Oh, he's in Dune. I
Oh right, I remember him there. Yeah, he was
yeah.
honestly pretty good there, but
I need to watch Dune again. Honestly, I watched it a couple years ago when I was sick, and so I fell asleep during it. Like I had a fever, and I just had it on, and I was like, "Oh, that's Jason Momoa. What's he doing up there?" And just in and out of sleep, I would watch it. But no, that's how I know him as an actor, and I just knew him as a pretty monotone type actor. But in this, I thought he kind of went out of his element in that it just has his character that he took on. So he did a good job. He made me laugh. It
yeah.
was funny.
Honestly, I feel like the other main characters, like the only reason that they're two dimensional is because the writers didn't give them a story. Pretty much, like they sort of just like sort of drew in the blanks, like said like, oh, the mother's dead, or
Yeah,
oh, they're living in the house alone. But they don't really look at those characters. They just sort of like focus on pretty much focus on Garrett and Steve, or not even Steve. Yeah, it's mostly just Garrett. It's honestly like I
love
get it
Garrett.
because he's sort of the most interesting character, just like with everything he's got going on. But I feel like the
Mhm.
other characters could have been at least a little more interesting too if they got their stories fleshed out.
And that's why I think, and that's probably, they probably did that because this is geared towards kids. That's probably why they didn't give much of a storyline to
Oh
this,
yeah.
because I was thinking the same thing that when we were first introduced to Natalie and Henry. First off, that threw me for a loop, man. I She looks like she's a year older than Henry. I No way in my mind did I ever would have ever thought she would be the parental guardian of that kid.
No, seriously, I was wondering, like, why isn't CPS taking the both of them? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on here? There's no way that she
So
can rent a house.
yeah, let alone have a job. I thought that was just so weird, but
Seriously.
okay, whatever. Maybe she's just a really young looking adult. And then we are rushed into Dawn, who's their real estate agent, and that also threw me off their choice of quirkiness because it wasn't necessary. Why did they make her with a mobile zoo?
Oh yeah, that
That
was
didn't make any sense.
honestly, it was a little funny to me, but it's especially at the end when there was at one point when I think Emma's got to get into the car,
Yeah,
um, and like she's got to like sit like next to the llama, but
true.
Yeah, it does feel a little strange and out of place.
I was like, "What is going on?" Okay, yeah, she has a lot of side hustles. What? Gotcha, gotcha. Gig economy and all. But the mobile zoo thing, something new to me. um, so yeah, they did rush into that, and then we're introduced to Henry's going to school pretty much immediately the next day in a new town up in Idaho. Um, and I'm not really going to go there quite yet, but well, yeah, I will. So he goes to school there and kind of introduced to all the classmates, and he builds this what launches a skeleton into the air that crashes into the factory's potato, knocks it down, and the sister almost gets fired. And then he goes and calls the garbage man to pick him up, and we're introduced to Jennifer Coolidge coming out and talking to him, and that was kind of funny to me. And then
Honestly, yeah, no, she killed in like every scene that she was in.
she's funny in general. I just watched her in White Lotus, the first season.
Oh, I haven't seen
Um,
that yet.
yeah, I think it's on Hulu, and she does a great job in that. It's just hilarious. But yeah, Jennifer Coolidge, wow, yeah, good for her. And but then Gargar or the garbage man, they go back to his shop, and Henry's playing around, tinkering with the orb of what is it called? The orb of dominance, right? And
Yeah,
the
it's
earth
the orb of
crystal.
dominance. And yeah,
So
the Earth crystal's the casing thing that has galactic, which is the sort of the strange language that you see around crafting tables, like or not crafting tables, enchantment tables. That's like whirling around the books. So that's galactic, and it
yes.
actually spells out something. I don't remember what it is. It's like something like stone, gold, iron, and then something
Yes.
about a gate.
I should know that because Realm News reported on that when that was first released, that crystal, and there's people deciphering it all over. And you're right, it's galactic, um, which was first made for what? I am trying to think. When was that writing? What was it developed for?
So galactic was like from I think it was a game from the 90s.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, galactic.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was hmm, I think Captain something or other. I can't remember.
There's a whole story behind that that's actually quite fascinating, and it translated out to be like gold and some other things I remember talking about, but that was like months ago or a year ago.
Oh, it wasn't Captain, Commander Keen, that's what it's called.
Okay.
And I think that was like a Sega Genesis game. It
Yeah.
says SGA. Oh wait. Um oh wait, no, SGA is just code for galactic. So it stands for Standard Galactic
Stan-
Alphabet. Gotcha. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay. And that was developed for a video game though.
yep. So the interesting thing is that Minecraft actually hasn't used Galactic for a while. Like I mean, sometimes they do it for like different trailers or stuff, like having in the background. But in Minecraft Dungeons, you don't see a single line of Galactic anywhere. They switched to a new language, which is honestly, it looks almost exactly the same, but it's got different symbols. It's called Illager Alt, and it's not just spoken by the Illagers. The villagers use it too. So you see it like all
Really?
across the map. And yeah, they added it to the main game too, right around the time that Dungeons came out. So I'm surprised that they went with Galactic here, but I like that they did it too. It's because
S-
honestly, I feel like both languages can exist. They shouldn't have just gone for one.
So when you said they added, what'd you say? It's called Illusionaut?
Illager Alt. That's the
Illager alt.
official name for the
Okay.
language. Yeah. And
So
honestly,
is
yeah, like I said, the characters look almost exactly the same as Galactic,
so is
although
Illager,
like they're
you
different.
said it's in the main game? Is that Minecraft vanilla?
Yeah. So it's not like put down anywhere like in writing, but that's like one of the custom character sets that you can use in Minecraft. And I don't think
That's really
I don't think the set exists like what do you call like you can't like type it out usually. So like I think it's confined to the game, so you can't like paste it from elsewhere. But
mm.
and I think with Galactic though you can. So that's sort of where it differs.
So they're still using Galactic for the enchantment tables though, right?
Yeah, they haven't changed that out. It's just they haven't used it in any official media sense.
That's super interesting to me. I love that type stuff. So I didn't realize the Illagers were writing in that language, the Illager or Illager
Illager
alt.
alt, yeah.
Yeah, that'll take me a while to get that down. Anyways,
You're
we
all good.
strayed away. But no, we not quite. That's super interesting to know what that language is on the the orbit dominance is where it's etched, right?
Yeah. No, not the orb, the earth crystal, the
Earth
casing
crystal's
around
the
it.
etched one. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, let's so
So
go ahead with that.
yeah, with the orb dominance itself, like I don't know if you were familiar with it at all, but like it's been in the Minecraft storyline for quite some time now. They first introduced it with dungeons,
Hmm.
and also the tie-in novel Rise of the Arch-Illager, but it's pretty much nothing like the orb we see in the movie, which is kind of strange because they never really explain that or give any hints as to why it's different.
Well, can you explain the differences? Because I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with the book. So can you go ahead and explain that?
Oh yeah, of course. So in both the book and Minecraft Dungeons itself, the Orb of Dominance is this extremely powerful being, like pretty much a god or definitely a god, somewhere in between that. It's able to manipulate terrain, corrupt things, or make them just stronger. But it's also very influential and pretty intelligent. So it manages to pretty much trick people into doing its bidding while making them think they're in control. In the Rise of the Arch-Illager, the tie-in novel, it's honestly a pretty interesting read just because of how the orb slowly manipulates the main character Archie, which eventually becomes the Arch-Illager.
Mm.
Um, so, because it's honestly like even as I was reading the book, like in the beginning, I was thought, oh, this orb's actually like pretty reasonable. Like I was coming into it knowing that it was the villain, but it actually almost got me convinced too that it wasn't all that bad until Archie eventually realized, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but he eventually realizes that the orb is controlling more of him than he thought. And
That's
he thought that he
interesting.
was in control of the orb as a tool, but turns out, yeah, he was the tool for the orb.
That gives me some Tolkien vibes. The whole
Honestly, yeah,
ring.
no, it's or the author. Shoot, I'm completely blanking on his name, but he's done a bunch of game books before, and some of them are fantasy. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if he got inspiration from there. Matt Forbeck, that's his name.
That's awesome. No, I feel like a lot of people in the fantasy world get their inspiration from Tolkien and people like him. But
So yeah, this one though with the orb, it's sort of strange what they did with it because it's like they completely just changed it. Like I in the in Dungeons and in Legends too, because the orb's also seen in Legends, the prequel to Minecraft Dungeons, and pretty much everything else.
mm,
Um, in both of those, the orb's purple and it's a lot more powerful. Um, at one point in the movie, like when they activate the beacon that turns the or yeah, the purple beacon like above the portal that turns the whole world into nighttime.
at the very
Um,
end, right?
yeah, that's like towards the end. And with that, that scene was actually seen before in Minecraft Legends, where
Really?
yeah, and the difference is it actually happened at the very beginning of Legends, and that's sort of what started the war and like led everyone to join up and push the big ones out of the overworld. But it's kind of interesting that they put it at the very end for this. But yeah, they and the difference is that both of them there's a purple beacon like right above a massive portal that turns the world into night, but the difference is the orb of dominance gets put in there as the beacon, while in the Minecraft Legends it just happens in the Nether where they take a normal beacon and then the seer or Malgosha as she's called in the movie,
Mhm.
she's got the orb of dominance on her staff, it's purple, and then she just wishes it over the beacon, and which corrupts it. So the orb itself wasn't actually needed and didn't even leave the Nether. So it's kind of weird that they pretty much nerfed it, like made it a lot weaker, and not even like it doesn't even look like it's sentient or anything like the orb we've seen in the previous series.
That's very interesting. So yeah, they sounds like they drastically changed it. They do you think they did that just for the to fit the plot more?
Honestly, I don't even know. Like maybe yeah. Like I honestly, some people were thinking that like this movie was AI generated because in the this like new or this older like unfinished version, which the animations are still rough and everything, at the very beginning it says like this gives all the credits and everything, and all the
Mhm.
actors are listed in the credits, but the writing, like when it says written by, it's the credits are to be determined. So there's not a single writer credited. So some people are thinking like, oh, they just got some AI to write the movie, and
You gotta be
then
kidding me. Wait, so I didn't stick around for the credits. That's bad on me.
so at the beginning they I don't know if it's actually in the final release of the movie because I wasn't really paying attention, but yeah, for the rough cut of the movie that's been leaked online,
Mhm.
um yeah, it's everyone else is credited, but when it comes to the writers it just says to be determined, or it's from TBD.
Interesting. I wonder how that leak got out. I wonder how is
I
it
haven't heard, but yeah, no, it's the only, because the thing is, like, nobody's actually ripped the full movie yet, at least to my knowledge. So it's this older version, which I'm pretty sure got leaked right around the same time as the movie, but I've got no clue who got their hands on it or how they did it. Sure, it's an interesting story though.
that's very interesting. Okay. Well, let's move on here. I wanted to ask you, since I just asked you your favorite character, and you said Jennifer Coolidge, and then as the main, probably went with the Garrett, the garbage
For
man.
sure.
I agree with you. Who's your least favorite and why?
That's a good question. I honestly think Natalie's probably the weakest link, just because like they, and that's not even like the fault of the actor. It's just like they gave her pretty much no lines, and like most of the movie is just like her just like looking like surprised or like frightened at something. It's just it feels like they just kind of forgot about her as a character for most of it. I did like
I
the one
I
scene where she
agree.
was talking to Dawn, and like there's a zombie coming behind them, and they're just like slowly whacking the zombie, not really paying much attention to it. And it's
Yeah,
just it keeps trying to get at them. I thought that scene was pretty funny, and that sort of made me wish that those two characters were a little fleshed out more. Because also with Dawn too, they sort of just like forgot about her at some point, and like pretty much everyone else was doing stuff. But like, yeah, no, I feel like those two characters didn't get justice.
I agree with you again. I was discussing that with my girlfriend, and I saw Natalie as being they probably. I mean, for the fact she was probably just written in because Henry was a young kid and he had to have somebody, I don't know, an
I didn't
adult,
even
I
think about that.
guess.
Honestly, that makes sense.
So that was pretty much her only role, was to take care of Henry. But like you said, she didn't have really any lines whatsoever. Yeah, she was just kind of a filler almost.
Yeah, it's
Eh,
I liked the Chugless or that sorry, that's the name of the town, or the fictional town that they live in there. I don't remember the name of the potato chip factory, but I think those scenes at the beginning where she was there, that was pretty funny. But
yeah,
yeah,
that
no,
was funny. I
after
did
that,
like
just completely
the
forgot
brief
about
amount of time we got to see the factory, the potato falling. That was cool. Henry's estranged Clemente teacher, Clemente, was a weirdo. That was funny.
her.
What was he? The math, wait, the art slash PE teacher?
I think so. Didn't he turn out to be the ex-husband of Jennifer Coolidge in the end?
Yes, Clemente.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I saw him at the end of the movie, and like, I was like, "Who is this guy? Like, where have I seen him?" Because I knew I saw him in the movie earlier. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
he's
the
the art
dude,
teacher.
and I think they got back together, didn't they?
No, it's Did you see the after scene? Like,
Gosh, I saw part of it. Yeah, they didn't get back together. She left him for the nitwit.
yeah, and then the nitwit starts like speaking like perfect British English.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember now. I don't know why I blanked that all out. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, very well spoken English with a nice voice and everything. That was
And then the principal starts talking back to him in Villager. Yeah,
Yeah.
and also like the funniest part about that is they mentioned that they'd only been together for a day,
Oh yeah.
so it wasn't even like a fast forward or anything like that. And I thought that was
Just
pretty
one
hilarious.
day.
Also, while we're talking about it, the dinner scene between her and the villager, I think that was probably the funniest part in the movie for me. Like how she
That
was just
was
like
hilarious.
talking about how he was such a good listener
Yeah,
and how
just
he's just such an interesting person.
Hey, did you notice Jen Bergensten as the waiter?
Oh yeah, I I knew that he was going to get a cameo, but I didn't know where. But yeah, that was pretty funny seeing him there, and the fact that he was only there for a couple seconds too.
Yeah,
I thought that was a pretty
just a
good reference.
couple seconds. But while we're talking about cameos, I know I kind of skipped over that the storage
Was
scene where
yeah.
he's going to bid on the storage auction, but there's a lot of cameos in there. Do you want to talk about that? You would
Um,
probably know more of these faces than I do. I only recognized one, and I think that was what, Dan DTM? What do they go
Dan
by?
TDM, and honestly, he's the only person I recognize too. I know a lot of these streamers, like they're like big time ones. I'm pretty sure like the older ones, but like a lot, like I was just never really big into watching them growing up. Like if I wanted to watch Minecraft, I mean, I'd rather just be playing it myself. I didn't really see the point. But like I know like a lot of people like were like that was one time that people were a little louder because like some people did point out like Dan, but I think that the other people there were also like relevant creators. I just have no clue who they are.
I was the same way. Dan was the only one I knew because I'd seen him at Minecraft live events, and he's
Oh
been
yeah,
in a lot of stuff the past year. So he's been kind of flouted by Minecraft, and so that's why I only knew his face. Um, but I did notice that they did a really cool shout out to a deceased famous Minecraft YouTuber who goes by, let me see here, King
Technoblade,
Pig, I believe, right?
Technoblade. Um,
Technoblade, and who was the king pig in this film, and so
yeah,
that tribute was suggested by Henson, right? Or the actor who played Henry. What I
huh?
read was
I
the
never
one that
knew that.
suggested that to Hess and the rest of the developers of this movie, and they said, "Yeah, let's do it, and we'll get that worked in." So I thought that was really cool that they did that.
For me, I like I get like people are happy about it. I'm not trying to sound like a buzzkill, but it did sort of feel like not I wouldn't say pandering, but like they were like adding it so like people would just watch the movie even if it was a flop. At least that's what it
Mm,
sort of felt like to me. Like obviously, like he was a this wasn't a person that I knew either. Like I don't think I even heard his name until after he had passed away. But like
yeah.
from what I've heard, he was like a really big creator and a inspiration or just like someone important to a lot of people. So honestly, yeah, I'm glad they gave him a reference, but it sort of feels like they didn't really have a what is it like good intentions with it. It feels like they were just like doing that just to get people to come in and see the movie.
You thought they were cashing in on it?
That's the thing is a lot of people have been talking about that recently about how people just like mention Technoblade's name in their videos to try to get more views.
Oh
And
wow,
yeah, so it's
that's
like
not
and
cool.
some people like say it's like there was this big controversy where this one guy was doing it for a charity sort of thing and
Mhm.
like some sort of charity for Technoblade, and some people were saying he was pandering and that or just like trying to like bait or use his death for views, but other people were
Wow.
saying like no, he was like or he's helping like other people with this disease. So I think and the thing is Technoblade's family was in on that too, like his dad was part of the fundraiser, I think. So
Okay.
honestly, like there's a lot going on both sides, but I don't know this guy. I didn't listen to him, so I'm just gonna stay out of it.
Yeah, see. I never knew Technoblade either, and I thought it was cool. I like how Minecraft, like during their live events and whatnot, the pre-shows, they'll incorporate a lot of the Minecraft YouTubers and content creators. So I like how they get involved and they shine the light on the community, the Minecraft community. I thought that was being displayed here, but I do think that you raise a good point. I think it could be seen by both sides because you have to take into account these are two major corporations that developed this movie. So they probably did maybe have a little bit intentions behind that, making a little bit extra money. So who knows? We'll leave it at that. Not much more to discuss. I'm glad they got a remembrance in the movie. That's cool, even if
Yeah,
they
for
were
sure.
doing it for money. But I can see why people are speculating and coming up with hypotheses on that. That would be a shame if that is why they did that. And I'm just going to hope they didn't do it for that reason.
Yeah.
So let's move on here. I want to ask you, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
So I think I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, probably my favorite scene is the dinner date scene between Jennifer Coolidge and the villager. But in
Okay.
the I'm trying to think what else, because I think that towards the end, like that last scene with Malgosha talking to Steve, I thought that was pretty funny. Like how she kept trying to kill him, just like really weakly.
With
Um,
the blade. Yeah, that
yeah,
was funny. That was funny.
especially because like how casual they were talking to each other. He just like, and the fact that he just kept coming back to just like, it was, that was pretty funny to me.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that too.
yeah.
That was good.
What about
Um,
you? What do you think
Me,
was yours?
my favorite scene. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Honestly, I'm trying to think. My mind was busy trying to just. I wasn't even. I was trying to pay attention to the storyline, which was super easy because to me the story was very basic, and that wasn't really. I could almost see what you mean by it being written by an AI.
I think
Because
I think the theory is a little ridiculous, but honestly, I kind of see it.
I th- this is going to sound horrible but I'm not a little kid. But as an adult, the storyline was the weakest part of the movie.
Oh yeah, I feel like the
And
pacing was a little off there,
the
especially towards the
pacing
end.
was horrible too. I think that's the fault of the writers or the story. It was it was written, and I don't know if that's because it was geared to be a kid movie and kids just have short attention spans now, like even
Mhm.
shorter in this Twitter age. So many characters, process and move on. But it felt to me like, especially the intro, I thought at first they were just trying to get through the intro so they could get us right into the overworld. I thought that's what they were doing.
That did
Um,
feel a little rushed.
yeah, I felt super rushed. Because like we just talked about, it was like, boom, you saw Steve, how he ended up in the overworld in the first 3 minutes. And then in the next 10 minutes, the rest of the gang's in the overworld. So it's like, let's say I'm being a little bit dramatic there. In the first at least 15 to 20 minutes, they're like in the overworld. There's not much like going on in Idaho,
Yeah,
but like they skip that stuff fast, and I don't know if that's because there's just a lot of scenes. And I'm going to say this: my favorite scene, I would say it's just when they're in the village. I wanted to see more. I wanted it to slow down, honestly, so I could process and look at all the stuff around, because I
I got
love that.
yeah,
And
I gotta say
I
they did a really good job with that village.
and you could tell that and I know that and I read this morning that every set was physically designed and then they enhanced it with CGI and AI or with whatever the CGI. I call it CGI AI blend because everything has AI in it now. There's no
Oh yeah,
escape. But so they added that CGI to it, but I hat off to them for actually using real props, real scenery. I remember I reported in Realm News months and months ago that they hired a person that was on one of the Lord of the Ring movies. I can't remember which. It was a few of them actually, but uh, they hired him to do um, the scenes set up for the movie, and I think they did a great job. So I thought that was cool. They had somebody with former experience on set.
yeah.
And the clothes, I like the villager clothing. So that to me, the scene of the village was cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I didn't realize how much of it was actually live action. Like, I
Hmm.
honestly, like, a lot of times you just couldn't tell like what parts were CGI, and like there was some times where it's just like the CGI looked absolutely awful, like this will be Minecraft in 2013 kind of shit or
Yeah.
stuff. um, but
Yeah.
it's like especially at the beginning, I don't know if you remember, like when Steve's like showing off his first houses and then he shows the pink wool house, the CGI there was absolutely awful. Like I don't know how that scene left the drawing board or left the animation studio, just because I feel like anything could have been better there.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I wish they would deleted the llama scene where all the piglins run by and it's chewing
Oh my
stupidly on grass.
dude,
I
I hated that scene more than anything else. Like literally, like I was I was way too mad about that for a kids movie when
Mhm.
I saw it in the trailer. Just because the thing was like people were acting like it was the funniest shit ever, and I'm like, I was just like, why are you finding this funny? He's just got a weird face, and I was worried that the entire movie was just going to be like animals doing weird faces, and that was supposed to be the joke.
Yeah, no, I thought they were going to I think they probably toned down the pink sheep some because I
That would
thought they
be
were going to go a lot further with the pink sheep based off the trailers, and maybe they got a lot of feedback off that. I
it's
was
kind of
hoping
crazy.
I was hoping they were going to remove the llama chewing on grass scene, but whatever.
Yeah,
Like
I'm glad
they
someone's
can
finally with me on that.
yeah, that's their creative rights, and I'm sure a lot of people love the llama. I'm probably just being hypercritical over it, but I could have done without the goofy looking faces. You
Yeah,
know, that was to me how they designed those type faces on the animals was going too far away from the video game element. It was becoming cartoon,
yeah,
and that I don't like as a
it'd be a
Minecraft
little
fan.
strange. The
So,
I think they did a good job with the tools and like the background stuff, but
yeah.
and honestly, like with the bodies of the animals too. But like you were saying, like the faces themselves and especially the eyes, I just
Mhm.
like I feel like they just couldn't get it right. But like
They didn't.
it's kind of crazy. With the some people were upset and like that all the sheep were pink. Like I heard some people complaining about like, oh, pink sheep are supposed to be rare. Well, it's clear that he dyed them that color. Like I don't think people should be complaining about that. But
Yeah.
I do think that they probably were going to do more with the sheep, but I think it was kind of crazy that they had the zombies eating one of those sheep and during the first night. I was
I
like, why is
forgot
this in a
about
kids
that.
movie? Like, because the thing is, like, I already thought like, geez, but like I was thinking like all the kids in the theater, like, how are they reacting to this?
Oh,
Because this isn't
hey,
something they've ever seen in their game before.
that's something okay, I have 2 things, and they are totally different. First, while we're in the village, the chicken cooker, the lava cooker, I love that. I know I saw a lot of criticism about I saw somebody on Twitter that's a pretty big account I won't name, but they were being critical about saying, "That's not even how you're supposed to cook your chicken." I'm like,
What?
"That's pretty much how mine's set up. Mine's a semi-automatic chicken cooker, and it's lava dumps on them, but from a
So
dispenser."
I have heard that like the design itself for the that they shown in the movie isn't actually possible in Minecraft, which I
Yeah.
mean, I don't care too much about. It's like the roofing too. It's like it would have to use like half slabs or like quarter slabs even to make
Mhm.
a lot of the roofs in the village work. But like, I don't think people should be that stuck up about that. I mean, it's like those minor creative differences like that just make sense when you're turning something into live action.
Exactly, because I was hypercritical, my brother and I was also when we were talking about the trailer when they first showed what happens to blocks when you break them, like that tree when
Oh yeah.
Henry breaks the tree and it's just a little micro cube of wood. I was hypercritical on that, and I read up on it because I guess the team really had to discuss like they couldn't make the blocks 1 by 1 meters. Like it just wasn't practical for actors carrying that around. So they had to take creative rights and just make their own thing and make it that way. Cause it wasn't practical
I'm surprised I
for
didn't
for
realize
set.
that earlier. Because if you've ever played Minecraft in VR, it's actually pretty easy to set up if you got one of those Oculus headsets. I've gotten to try it out a couple times myself, but it
Oh
actually puts
wow.
you to scale, and like it's the blocks are like the world just feels like so much more massive than like it is on a screen. Like it's like even if you're playing on a massive screen, it's like nothing like that. Like it
That's
because
interesting.
yeah, 2 meters is like taller than honestly, I don't know European measurement, but 2 meters is a lot, and
Yeah,
one
two
meter itself,
meters.
like yeah,
That's about 7 foot
yeah, a kid
tall.
wouldn't be able to carry that around or maybe even jump over it.
No, no. So they had to create the props to be functional for the actors. And after I read that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm glad I read that. So knowledge is power. I'm glad I have that now. So I'm sure there's certain things that a lot of people disagree with in this movie that, hey, I can't construct a house like that because of half slabs. Well, they had to do it for the movie. So get over it. That's what I
Yeah.
say. The props, I absolutely agree with you. I loved them. I loved, except I know it was probably realistic, but man, that diamond armor does not look good on
Oh my
Jack
god,
Black Steve. That did
I
not
forgot
look
about
good.
that. But yeah,
That
no,
did
that
not look good. I
that was pretty kind of a weak scene.
I was like that. I don't know if it was just that Jack Black doesn't look good in armor, Minecraft armor, or if it was just because if you think about it, I mean, that is how it would look. It's all blocky and whatnot, but It's
I still
on
feel like
a
diamond
person
armor
that's
is
not
like
a block.
yeah, it would be harder to pull. I think it would be easier if it was iron armor or something like that. But like I understand like the one to be like this epic final showdown. So like I get why they used like enchanted diamonds, but I do feel like if it was another sort of armor like iron, they could have like made it look a little different and it would have looked a little more natural.
I agree with you. The iron probably would have looked a little bit more natural on him, but I just thought it looked goofy. um, um, what did you think of some of the props that are brand new, like
So
Henry's gun that he made?
I do think that gun's pretty neat, especially in the add-on, which I want to talk about later. They did a pretty good job recreating it. But the other thing, the first prop that came to mind when you said that, it's not something that anyone would expect, but it's the broccoli, and it's something which you probably missed. Like I can't imagine anyone being paying attention for it. But during the earlier shoots, like when they were just showing off like what it's like on set and they were showing off some of the props. So one of them was like a bucket full of these like recreated broccoli, which obviously hasn't been in Minecraft before. Like it was never seen in Dungeons or Legends. And I
Uh-huh.
know it's like such a minor detail, but the fact that yeah, they just added like this new thing because it was in the village because I guess since they're vegetarians, they wanted to give
Mhm.
them like more options to sort of like fill those farms up. So there was a couple broccoli fields, and I do think that was a pretty fun kind
Really?
of Easter egg.
That so is that in the add-on?
No, broccoli isn't. It's not. I don't think it's going to be even mentioned in the movie. Yeah, it definitely wasn't mentioned in the
I
movie, but like, it's just like one of those like background props that like blink and you miss it.
I bet
I
that's gonna
wouldn't
be
even
added to the
have
game.
seen it. Yeah, like
I
that's
bet
the
they
thing.
add
If I
that to
didn't know
vanilla.
that it was like a prop ahead of time, like I would have completely missed it.
That's awesome. I didn't I'm see, and I can't wait for it to come out on stream because I am going to break this movie down scene by scene. Like I am. I'm going to sit there and pause in the village and I'm going to look at the background because I know I missed a lot. I missed so much cuz heck man, there's so much that they can still show us. I know they're going to make a sequel and I know by saying sequel I'm skipping a lot of this, but I guarantee there's going to be a sequel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, they're earning like so much more than they expected, so
They're
I
making
feel
a
like it's
lot of
definitely
money.
guaranteed.
I read on Forbes magazine. Let's just talk about right now.
Oh
Some of
yeah.
these figures are crazy, man. I read on there that where is it? I have a bunch of notes on all this stuff. But they're foreseeing that it might make $1 billion. Because the Rotten Tomatoes, as of this morning at 9 a.m. when I checked, out of 111 reviews on the tomato meter, it was scored at 49%. So 5 out of 10 stars, which isn't that great, but which is broken down 54 fresh tomato votes and 57 rotten tomatoes there. But the other diagnostic, the popcorn meter, totally different. It received an approval rating of 87%, over 2,500 verified ratings, and
That's the one that's
overall
completely open to the public,
yeah,
right?
insane. It got 4.4 stars out of 5, man. Like,
See, that
and
makes more sense because obviously a movie reviewer is going to be like treating it like it's an adult movie, or at least most of them will, and they're going to be real snobby about it.
mhm.
But yeah, what matters is the actual crowd likes it, the general population.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. And listen to this, man. They're projecting that it's going to variety.com says that it might make 150 million gross this weekend and it cost 150 million to produce this movie. So they might recoup their costs over the weekend, which is insane.
That would actually be crazy. It's especially because like you gotta wonder like if they knew that this movie was going to be a hit, do you think they would have like put more effort into it, the background and everything? Because I feel like some of it could be done better. Like I said, some of the CGI was lacking in some places. Most of the time, you
Mhm.
couldn't tell what was real, what was CGI, at least for me. But I feel like a little bit of it could have been better done, and I feel like they should have put some more money into it.
Well, you touched base right on the next question I was going to ask you that you asked me. How did you enjoy how they designed the overworld? And we're talking about the CGI that you just asked me. And for the next movie I don't know. Honestly, they had a pretty decent sized budget it should have been spot on like throughout the whole thing. So,
I mean,
um,
it definitely did feel a little lackluster at times. Like I said, the scene in the beginning with the pink house, it was just like that was the one that just stuck out to me the most. And when I just saw it, I was like, yeah, no, this is awful.
oh,
There's a
his
few
pink
others
wool
that just
house.
yeah, just like it's not the fact that it was a wool house, just like how bad the wool was like animated. It's clear that it was CGI, just like obviously so. And the
I,
rest of the movie, maybe it's just because it was in stark contrast with the background, but yeah,
mhm.
the rest of the movie and the builds like felt a lot more natural.
I think you're right. But I am glad that you mentioned that scene because besides the fact that that you didn't quite like that the CGI to that pink wool house, I did love seeing the evolution of him building houses. I thought that felt very real. Like
Oh
his
yeah.
dirt house. I was like, yes, a dirt house. That is what's like your first night in the overworld, you know? I mean, it's
It's cool they
smart to
actually
probably
showed
dig into the side of a hill, but I remember I built a dirt house my first night.
I can't even remember what I did, but it's cool that they actually showed the first night, not for Steve, but for the others, and how they had to sort of like build that encampment to survive from all the zombies and all that.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool how they figured that out. And it was neat to see how the blocks, formed. I thought they kind of nailed that element pretty well. Just boom, 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 lay them down. That was kind of cool.
That was a pretty good job of it. I thought it was
I
pretty funny when Natalie was trying to craft a boat, and then she just threw a block of I think
yeah.
it was just a log, and it just like landed in the water.
And the villager just goes, like
I think that was a pretty funny scene.
yeah, that was a good scene. That was good. She was still learning, honing her crafting skills in that.
One thing about the just to like sort of bring it back, one thing that I did love about the background, which
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed this, but like all the flowers, they didn't really look like the flowers from the game, but they were like square and they were different colors. Um, I honestly thought that they were like really cool. They were pretty much like yeah, it looked like the same type of flower, just in different colors, but it really like blended in well with the movie and especially the terrain around it. And I honestly thought they were really neat. Like I want to recreate them in vanilla because yeah, they don't look like anything like that exists in game.
They did have some different flora in this. Even the trees had different flowers, didn't they?
Oh yeah, and there was I completely forgot about that. I think in the village they had like orange trees or something like that.
Yeah. Were those like literally oranges?
Honestly, it could be. There is a theory that people are saying where and honestly, I've looked at it myself, and it could be true that jungle leaves have lemons in them, and
Yeah.
like because it's like there's some yellow spots there, and obviously
Hmm.
like there's no lemons in game, but it could very well be there and just not obtainable to us. And there
Well,
has
I
actually
have it.
been a I think fruit some sort of fruit trees in Minecraft dungeons, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility.
I've been theorizing the same thing because I've posted several pictures in the past year about my jungle trees and like a couple of my jungle trees right next to my pale garden biome, like glitched, and so they want to be pale garden jungle trees, but the way they look, the lemon or those yellow spots really stand out in contrast, and it looks like a lemon tree. I'm like, what is this? And when I was talking to Zetterstrand last year in that episode, his painting with the owl and lemon, I
Mhm.
asked him, I said, so is this something we can see coming to the overworld? I straight up asked him, and he wasn't, he didn't really verify or anything, but I have a feeling that I just have a weird feeling that there's gonna be some lemons and owls coming to the game. I don't know why, but I think that his painting has something in it. And I have been seeing people talk about lemon trees like you suggested too. So
And honestly, like that's definitely possible because one of the other paintings, it's the newer paintings that is, it's called Orb, and it's
mhm.
I'm pretty sure clearly supposed to be a reference to the Orb of Dominance. Different
Oh,
color, but yeah, just like the simple name for it, and it's like it's I think an orb under a streetlight or something, and then it's just surrounded by darkness. So
yes. And I love
I
that
do think
one.
that these paintings, obviously they tie into canon, but like I do think the newer paintings especially.
I might have to email Mr. Zetterstrand.
That would be cool to see
Yeah,
his opinion on it, or At least if he was like given like some directions as to like what he should be adding to it or what he shouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So, do you think they did a good job replicating the game into a realistic setup?
Honestly, yeah, the terrain generation was a little more impressive than what you see in game. Well, honestly, I can't be talking because I play it on 1.12.2 on my server. So I actually haven't really seen caves and cliffs terrain all that much, like besides like a few minutes at a time. So like the world did feel like a little more amplified than a vanilla Minecraft world, like
Mhm.
especially with the redstone mines, which I want to talk about later, in the big mountains there. But I do think that's like a good thing that because like obviously the reason why they don't have like crazy terrain everywhere is because like not everyone's computers or phones could support it. So I do think them taking a little creative liberty there and like making this sort of like amplified world was pretty cool.
I agree. I'm agreeing with a lot of your statements. I was impressed with the overworld. In fact, the only complaint I have is that I wish they would have stopped in just at one spot for a little bit so I could see the biome more, because it felt like they were just going so fast. I wanted to see more of the area. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I like I don't know, like you were talking about flowers and whatnot. I would have liked to have seen more of like a snowy biome or like a stray or
They didn't show a single desert. It's crazy because they had a there's this one scene where like oh yeah, it was in the redstone mines where Garrett like accidentally steps on the trap and gets shot at with the cactus balls. So obviously
oh,
cactus had to come from somewhere, but yeah, I wish they that's probably going to be in the next movie that they're going to show a desert. I think that'd be a lot cooler.
I think the end. I know that we're kind of jumping around, but I think there's a lot that they can show. I mean, do you think the end's going to be in the sequel?
Oh, honestly, yeah, because the thing is, the original draft for the movie, like the original concept was this girl that gets like transported to the world of Minecraft, and then she's got to defeat the Ender Dragon or whatever.
Okay.
So that obviously got scrapped for this new storyline that kind of like follows the story of Minecraft Legends, or might be based on it. Um, but honestly, like it's honestly either or because this movie was probably like it takes a long time for people to do like CGI and all that. So I feel like
Hmm.
this movie, the current story for it's been around for a few years, and it honestly could have like started being put together at the same time that Minecraft Legends was being developed. Minecraft Legends turned out to be a flop, so maybe they weren't expecting that. But I do think that there's a pretty good chance that it was started around the same time. So maybe it's not fully based on it, but they could just be sharing a similar story.
Interesting. Yeah, I realize that there's a lot of elements taken from dungeons and legends put into this game or into this movie. Sorry,
Nah, you're all
that
good.
I'm not fully aware of because I'm just a vanilla Minecraft player, so it kind of just goes over my head. I the
Even then, it's a lot of it's like blink and you'll miss it stuff. So and even then, like a lot of Dungeons players like probably wouldn't be recognizing this stuff. Like, well, honestly, like the so one thing that was like pretty noticeable, obviously, was the boots of swiftness, and
yes,
that's so I don't know if you know that, but yeah, that's an artifact from Minecraft Dungeons.
is it?
So yeah, I think like yeah, most Dungeons players would recognize that. But
Are
then
there
there was some
golem?
more. Sorry, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Are there golem variants in dungeons?
No, not like that. That scene was yeah completely on its own. Like they've never done anything like that. They have
Okay.
like they have like redstone golems and stuff like that, but like they're completely like designed different and they serve a different purpose.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, this scene where he added that stuff to the golem and it sort of made like a fast golem. Like I think honestly that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's nothing we've seen before. I remember in the trailer,
That's
like it
interesting.
showed a scene with all the golems like going and like fighting the piglins. It was just like a
Mhm.
short, like 1 or 2 second clip, and you could kind of see that the golem in the front was wearing special armor, but it wasn't like fully certain. So I remember there was a lot of discussion over that where people are arguing like, "Yep, he's armored," or "No, he's not armored." So I think that was pretty cool that there actually was a special one.
Interesting. No, that okay. That's good to know. I'm glad you know all
Also,
this.
yeah, the only other dungeons reference that I can think of is well, I don't even know if you count it as a reference, but I do think it's the same place. One of the main locations in Minecraft Dungeons is the Redstone Mines, and pretty much that's exactly like the mines seen in the movie. Like it's a massive mountain that's got like big caves under it, and the caves have glowing redstone and diamonds just like everywhere. And it's pretty much like
Wow.
exactly like it's seen in the game. So I do think that it took direct inspiration from that, and maybe it's even based in the same world. I don't think it's canon or it even fits into canon personally, but like it might be at least based on the same world that the canon stuff did happen.
And what game's that in?
Um, so both, or yeah, Minecraft Dungeons is the only game or even piece of media that's considered hard canon by Mojang. That and the associated tie-in novel Rise of the Arch-Illager. But Minecraft Legends is sort of canon. It's like meant to be told like as a loose story that like some parts of it are true, some parts of it might just be embellished. But yeah, Dungeons, like the entirety of it is supposed to be canon.
Interesting. I I was looking up because I felt like a lot of the piglins were probably. I mean, there's like they weren't your normal piglins in this movie. I'm now transcending over into our Nether scenes. I looked up Mount Gosha was totally made up for this movie. Am I correct on that?
So actually, Malgosha was the only character that wasn't made up for this movie. Every other
Really?
yeah, literally, like I was just thinking about this, like after I got out of the theater, every other Piglin and here, I mean, besides Steve, obviously, but even then, they created like a new character for Steve. Malgosha is the only like previously existing character that isn't like a new writing.
Oh,
Because, but the thing is, she wasn't known as Malgosha. She was called the Seer in Minecraft Legends, and she played a similar role. She was a little more mysterious. She didn't have any voice
hmm.
lines, but she was like sort of controlling things in the background, and she had the orb of dominance the entire time.
So that's what happened last night. I was doing research. I was like, I had a feeling that Malgosha was from a Minecraft was already something in the Minecraft universe, but when I tried typing into the search engine, it said Malgosha was completely made up for this movie. And so they must just been referring to the name Malgosha.
Honestly, like I did check the wiki, and a lot of it just doesn't line up with actual canon or like other references to Minecraft. And because I was looking at the orb dominance page on the wiki,
Mhm.
and honestly, I'm probably just gonna update it myself just because it's kind of bothering me. But like I don't know why they haven't added that, but yeah, Malgosha is definitely the seer from Minecraft Legends. Although I do think it's sort of like an alternate reality because in Minecraft Legends, which is would be based like a long time before this,
Mhm.
like in some sort of like prehistoric overworld and the Nether. Um, Malgosha had the orb of dominance, but it was corrupted, like in its purple form, which is seen in Dungeons and Legends, and not like it is right now, where it's in the movie, where it's like blue and doesn't actually do anything. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, like it could. I don't even know what was it like the thing that was able to activate the portal.
That's what I'm confused about. Like, okay, so she took from Jack Black towards the beginning the Orb of Dominance, right?
Yeah.
And
So
held that position until Dennis stole it and took it to the overworld, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then Garbage Man found that in the storage auction, and then Henry obtained it, and that's how they all were able to go into the overworld, right?
I think yeah.
And
But like
then Malgosha is looking for, and that's why she sends her piglin army into the overworld, which
do
which
they
is
ever
that nether wart potion. That's
oh
only for the add-on, isn't it?
so honestly, I have so much to talk to you about Netherwart. If you want to talk about that now, I can.
Let's
But
do it now.
oh yeah, so Netherwart is actually has been seen in pretty much every single spin-off as so this isn't anything new. It's sort of been implied previously, like they never directly said it or showed that it would like keep the piglins alive. But
Mhm.
it was actually so in Minecraft Dungeons where it was first shown, um there's this like one piglin that's a merchant that like lives in a cave in the overworld, and it's not really shown directly how this piglin survives without like zombifying, but like they're surrounded by crimson fungus and they
Hmm.
have a ton of netherwort around them, and like on like a bone that's like hanging off them, they just have like a bunch of netherwort hanging off of that.
Oh, wow.
It's also seen on the seer in Minecraft Legends, like the seer's got a bunch of netherwort growing off of them. And in Legends, like the piglins were in the overworld for a lot longer, and they were in this prehistoric time. They were like very highly technologically advanced, not like the sort of wastelanders you see in the modern times. So with these piglins, they pretty much made these massive machines. They were called um, I forget what they were called, but like they were like these giant like stomper things that would like smash down into the ground and like release a bunch of netherwort spores. And then yeah, these
Interesting.
spores were pretty much the key to preventing zombification. They even had like little like gas mask piglins that would go around spreading the those were called the spore spreaders, and they'd go around like making sure that everyone like would get a healthy dose of that stuff so they wouldn't get infected.
Wow, that is cool to know. I had no idea about that. I've had my second episode ever of Realm News is over spores, but I've never there's just so much to think about when it comes to the fungi in Minecraft. It's prevalent. It's
Oh
everywhere.
yeah,
It's everywhere. I know that there's something there with the fungi, and no, that's all super interesting to me that you said all that.
I do
Um,
have a lot of theories for fungi, but that's definitely for another time because that would take a little while.
yeah,
But
we'll have to discuss that on a different episode. Maybe definitely in the future we'll touch base on that. But while we're talking about the Nether, let's stay there for a little while.
I did actually have
How did you like the Nether scenes? Did you think they did a good job with those?
honestly, yeah. Or wait, can I just add a little more about Netherwork because
Yeah, of
the
course. Go
yeah,
ahead.
one or two other things. One thing is that I actually ended up sort of glossing over the Minecraft Legends spin-off book. I was, or not the spin-off, the tie-in book. I was going to read the full thing, but I honestly didn't have the chance to finish it, so I just sort of just like flipped through it and briefly looked at it. But yeah, what they do to get the piglins to be able to invade the overworld is they also create some sort of potion. They don't say exactly what's in it, but they say that it starts with netherwort as a base, which creates an awkward potion. Um, but in the movie, we can see that it's like sort of a pinkish potion. So I'm guessing
Hmm.
not just an awkward potion because awkward potions in game are a blue color. They look pretty much just like water. So I
Oh,
do
okay.
think that there's something else in there that we just don't know yet that also keeps them alive. And
And
that's
Netherwart's kind of the base ingredient to many potions, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's I think awkward potions like pretty much start like they're yeah, they pretty much make most or anything out of that. I think mundane potions are also one which are crafted differently that create a different set of potions. I'm not an alchemist. I don't really pay attention to that side of the game. But
I haven't either. I just know very little about all that. I'm trying to get into potion making in my world. I'm looking for Netherwort right now, and I can't find it.
yeah, the only place that you can actually find it, I think, is still in the just in the what do you call them? The Nether fortresses under the
Yep.
stairs. Like you can craft them into crimson fungus or netherwort blocks, but once you have a netherwort block, you can't decraft them into netherwort because the netherwort blocks make up the crimson forest. So I guess they made that to make netherwort get harder to obtain.
I'm gonna have to keep looking.
One
Hey,
thing that was like a sort of small touch, like that's another like blink and you'll miss it thing. But the reason why Malgosha didn't instantly zombify like everyone else, like once the night beacon was turned off and the portal was cut, that's
mhm,
because there was two piglins behind her, like almost like guards, but they were holding these like little lantern things. I don't know if you noticed them.
I
Um,
didn't.
yeah, no, they were like small, like piglin. What do they call them? Piglin runts. That's what they call the small ones. But they were holding these. It's they've been seen before in like the Catholics use something like this where it's like a sort of lantern thing that's got like incense coming out of it,
Yeah.
and they'll use it for a lot of stuff. And I think some Eastern religions do that too with like incense. But with this, like you can see whatever smoke is coming out of it, it's sort of like a reddish smoke, and it looks like it's burning netherwort or something of the likes. So because they have that, like Malgosha didn't need the drink, or at least like she survived like a lot longer. And even towards the end, like when she collapsed down, she didn't really look like she was zombified. So I do think that that's what kept them alive while all the other piglins died. So I do think that was a pretty neat touch.
Oh man, that's so cool. I'm glad that you noticed that because now when I watch this again, I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for that. I didn't notice the piglins with the incense, the Netherwort incense.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely something that was sort of blink and you'll miss it. As a lot of the references and stuff here are.
Sounds like that's all. Yeah, I think you're onto something. It sounds very correlated, and I'm glad that you knew that this was a seer, that Malgosia's the seer from Dungeons, right? Or wait,
Yeah.
Legends? Dungeons, sorry.
Legends. Yeah. Um, they haven't really like they didn't appear in the or in the tie-in novel. So yeah, all they've appeared in prior to this is Legends. As I do think it's a different character, or I mean, obviously it's the same character, but like a different reality version of the character.
Wow. Well, let's move on here because we're just we have a lot to talk about still. Did you so what were your thoughts about the Nether in the movie? Do you think they portrayed that well, or do you think they could have done better?
So honestly, I don't know if my opinion fully counts on this because I'm a total nerd when it comes to Minecraft. I didn't like the Nether, what they did with it. It just looks so bland. It's like they didn't really have any sort of interesting backgrounds. Like you would see like Piglin ruins, I guess, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like in because the thing is in both Minecraft Dungeons and Legends, like piglins are like super technologically advanced. They have like these massive like netherite boring machines and everything. And
Mm.
in dungeons, like they're sort of like at the beginning of their post-apocalyptic stage where all this machinery is like lying around in ruins. And I really do think like they sort of like forgot what the piglins are because in Minecraft, like it's everything that we've seen from the piglins is that they're a highly technologically advanced society. Like in canon, like they're by far the most technologically advanced. Like they've come up with some crazy stuff. Even like
Mhm.
when they're in this apocalyptic state, like they managed to come up with new inventions and stuff. But you don't really see it that much in base Minecraft because that's base Minecraft is most likely set after Dungeons actually.
Mhm.
Um, some people think Dungeons is a sequel, but most I feel like most people agree at this point that Dungeons came before. So the piglins in modern times, like I guess it makes sense that there's not too much machinery lying around. But I feel like for the movie itself, they really should have like, especially because you do see a little bit of it like with piglins like riding under gas and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
like I really do feel like they should have like actually gone back and like looked at other piglins before and like what the direction for them was going because I don't feel like they were portrayed well, and do feel like the Nether was a little bland. I mean, you didn't really see any biome variation in there, did you? Like, I don't think I noticed a crimson forest, a warped forest, or anything. It
That's
was
what I
just
was
sort
going
of
to
like,
ask you. I didn't
yeah,
notice any crimson forest. I noticed some fungus. I think I noticed mushrooms in there. Did I? I think I
I, I,
did.
I didn't even notice
But I
that.
was going to ask you. I just didn't. I had the same dilemma. I thought it was just very bland, but this is what I was struggling with. It felt like it was so chaotic because the piglins were just they were all over the place. They were just like searching for gold and just beating each other up. It felt like a little bit of kind of a scene like from Lord of the Rings with the orcs when they're like, down manufacturing all the weapons and stuff in that pit. But I there's a couple elements I liked about this. I loved how they captured that this is a hot place. It looked
Oh
like
yeah,
it was smoldering. You saw the heat waves. Um, that was cool, but you're right. It was pretty much just a nether waste, the nether waste, and that was it. There wasn't any other biomes. I think we did see some structures, but and
yeah.
again,
There
I'm
was no
not
like
familiar with the
background
Minecraft
shadows or
Legends,
anything.
dungeons, and all their technology. I just am familiar with vanilla. So, but
And
yeah,
the thing is, like,
I thought that there probably could have been a little bit more there. I was
yeah.
starting to get bored with the Nether the more and more they showed of it. So
The
yeah,
thing
I
is, like,
didn't
yeah,
see any hoglins. Did you?
they only showed that. Oh my god, I wanted to talk about that too because they only showed the Hoglins once. There was this one scene where they had like hog riders, which I thought was kind of funny, like
Okay.
chasing them like on the side of a cliff. But that is literally
Oh,
the only time they showed Hoglins. Like
you're right. They
a few
did.
minutes before that, I actually wrote in my notes no Hoglins scene because like I thought they just completely forgotten about them for this movie. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
they're
and
only
they did,
seen in a single scene.
and I didn't get up to use the bathroom at all for the movie or anything. So I must have somehow missed the hoglins.
I mean, there were some riders on them, but like once again, it's like so many of these scenes are like blink and you'll miss it, where they just like it just goes by so fast because I guess they wanted to pack a lot into the movie. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, no,
Well,
I
that
feel like
was
some of
my
those scenes could stay even
problem.
longer.
But that was also my problem was the scenes were way too short. I didn't have much time to process it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's I do wish they paced it a little better. But yeah, with the overworld, like they did a good job. But for the Nether, I do think between both like the piglin culture and the biome itself, like because in Minecraft dungeons, like the Nether is completely alive with so many different types of fungi and a bunch of different. It's not really, they don't really add more creatures, but it's just like it just feels so much more alive than in vanilla Minecraft or anything else we've seen. I feel like they could have taken at least some of that and put it in the movie, but I feel like they just kind of got lazy there.
Gotcha. No, I agree. What about the music and sound design of this movie? Do you think it did a good job matching the game's music and sound effects?
I honestly didn't even pay attention that much to that part. It's like I paid attention to like when people were singing, of course, but I honestly wasn't too focused on the background music itself, just because I was taking notes on the actual like storyline and all that. What did you think about it though?
I honestly don't think they really. I think they could have done a better job incorporating the original Minecraft music. The only part that stood out to me was Malgosha's little America's Got Talent scene where
Oh yeah.
she's up there dancing to. That wasn't a C418 song, was it?
No, that was the Lena Raine's pig.
Yes, I knew it. I thought it was Lena Rain, and I kept on. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, I can't. I don't think that's C418. My brain always goes to him, like as default for because he's the
Yeah.
original. But I no, I had a feeling it was Lena Rain, and I love Lena Rain as an artist. So no, I thought that was cool, and that was the only time in the movie where I was like, wait, I, that's the only time that they played a Minecraft song. What the heck? That's when it occurred to me. I was like, why haven't they been playing more Minecraft music? To me, the only music I heard, and I think it was to fit the garbage man's motif, was
Mhm.
80s hair band music, and that was it.
Yeah, even at the end, it's like they're like singing a pop song or something. I don't even fully remember, but I do.
Oh my
Yeah, I do
gosh.
feel like now you mention it, there was a lot that just like felt like a lot more like mo- or music you'd hear from in an action movie, which I guess it makes sense. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. They did sort of underutilize actual Minecraft music.
And honestly, I don't even know if they really utilize the Minecraft sounds. Like, when you're walking on grass or when you're breaking wood or if you're breaking something, I think they use that's something I need to look into. But
Well,
it,
they got the villagers on point. I don't know if they had actual. I don't think it's actual recordings from the game, like, but
mhm.
the villagers did all sound like the actual villagers from in game. So I think they really hit the nail on the board there.
I agree 100% with that. And I asked myself, I was like, I wonder if they had the audio technician that I can't ever remember his name, but I love that dude. I know that they have a whole team, but this dude, I've seen several videos of him making noises of certain things, and I know that he did a lot with the villagers. I was like, I wonder if they had him um, voice all that for the movie because I thought
That
that'd be
honestly be
cool.
really cool. Because yeah, they did do a good job. Whoever put that together.
I agree. I agree. So, we kind of talked about the pacing. I think it was way too fast. I want to ask you: do you think it was fast, too slow, just right? What do you think,
Like I was
NightSteak?
saying earlier, like I definitely do think it was a little too fast. Like the beginning, like I wasn't as, or I didn't feel was as bad. But towards the end, like at the very end, like the pacing, like it just felt like they were like, okay, okay, let's get this over with so we can go home. It's just like a
Yeah.
little ridiculous. Like at the end, like the one thing that kind of irks me is Steve's been living in this world for God knows how long, right? And then like
Yes.
when he decides that he wants to like go back to the real world, there's a bunch of villagers around them. He doesn't even turn around to like say goodbye to them or anything like that. Like this is this world that he's lived in for probably decades now, and he doesn't even say anything to them. He just like runs out the portal. I
Well,
thought that
maybe
was
that says
would be an awkward
something.
scene.
Maybe that says something about the player's relationship with the villagers because a lot of people just pin them in for trades.
That is a good point.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't give a damn about the villager. Like, there's a whole page I don't know if you're aware about on Reddit, but it's called Villagers Rights.
Oh yeah, no, I'm subscribed there, or I follow
I
that.
am too.
Funny.
And I think it's hilarious. But you know what? I'm all for villager rights. I don't have mine pinned in except for my iron farm. There's 20 people, 20 villagers have sacrificed themselves for the greater good of my kingdom. But
Oh, they sacrificed themselves, huh?
yes, they did.
They
They all
volunteered to
volunteered.
serve
It's a volunteered based kingdom I have. They all said, yes, me lord, I will go
Sounds real
there.
ethical.
Okay,
One
man, let's move on here because I still want to get to what you sent me. like the
Oh yeah.
McDonald's Minecraft merch, but I still have a few things I want to cover here. Um, we I'm going to skip that question because we already said that you believe that this movie is a good movie for people who've never played Minecraft before, right?
Yeah, honestly, the thing is, like, I wasn't able to make that assessment myself because I just know so much about the game, and it's like I wasn't really able to detach myself and like see it from the view of a kid that hadn't seen Minecraft before. But since my parents were there, and my mom just especially doesn't know like jack about any sort of games, so like, and she, even though like I've been playing Minecraft forever, she doesn't know anything about it. But she did think, like, I asked her like that specific question, like, do you think this would be a good kids movie for a kid that's
Mhm.
never seen the game before? Or that's never played the game before, and she thought, and she said like, yeah, for sure, definitely, like she had a lot of fun with it.
Nice, nice. My mom, because she asked how we liked the movie, and she goes, "Do you think kids would like it?" And I said, "For sure." Like all the kids in that theater are, they love it. They have the lines memorized. They. It was crazy. Now,
In the end,
what
like
about some
obviously,
Easter eggs? Did you
yeah.
catch any Easter eggs that haven't been mentioned?
Hmm. Well, there was something that I didn't even realize until after, but like there's the one scene where Henry, like he's at the top floor of the Woodland Mansion and he stares into the eyes of the Enderman and he starts getting this like psychedelic kind of visions where
Yes,
like
I
seeing all
forgot
these
about
different
that.
people. Yeah, the scene was honestly pretty cool. But like the one thing that I didn't notice, but some other people pointed out, is that when Steve's talking, his eyes like are completely white when everyone else's
Mm,
are like purple. So people are pointing that out, saying that's probably Herobrine reference. And
of
honestly, I'm
course.
inclined to believe it.
You're right, and I can't believe I forgot about that scene. And to me, that Enderman scene tapping into his brain and making him feel worthless was like that to me brings a lot of theories. Like that's some
Honestly,
weird stuff going on there, you know?
and the fact that because that's another thing that I don't know, don't know if I can even talk about this because like I can't even like fully process like why it's happening. But like Endermen, like they sort of just like stick to themselves. They have there's a species called Enderlings which are seen in Minecraft dungeons. There's a few variants of Endermen pretty much, but they don't really deal with like other races or anything like that. So the fact that there was
Mm,
an Enderman that was known to be guarding the top floor of the Woodland Mansion, I do think that's pretty interesting. That opens up a ton of theories. Like even if this movie isn't canon, like I do think that they sort of like based it around canon elements. So
that's
there's a lot to
super.
think about there.
Yeah, that's a lot to process, honestly. And that's why I need to watch this movie again. I'm not going to go back to the theater to watch it, but that I thought that was cool, and the Herobrine reference for sure. That was a Herobrine reference. The white eyes, come on.
Did you
That's
catch that when it was being played, or did
I
you hear
think
that?
I did. It's just I forgot that whole scene up till now, because the scenes go so fast. But
Oh yeah.
let's talk about the Woodland Mansion because I forgot to even write that down as questions. How did you like the Johnnies, or I guess the axe guys? I know him as Johnny. I think they're
So
called that.
so Johnny's a one of the name tags that you can give them that like changes like their behavior. It's actually the only name that you can give them that changes their behavior. But what that
Shining
does is that,
reference.
yeah, it's a reference to the Shining, I think.
Mhm.
um where like, but when you name it Johnny, it'll attack like any type of mob, like passive mobs too.
Oh,
It's
cool.
just won't attack other villagers, but yeah, they're called the normal ones that are just called vindicators. And I think pretty much all of the pillagers that, or all the illagers that we see there are vindicators. I don't remember seeing any evokers or anything like that.
I I don't
Was
know
there?
how I felt about the pillagers. They hardly showed them, which they deserve. Honestly, I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this because this movie is so popular, but I would have rather the main enemy been the illager, not the piglins.
I do
Honestly, I know
I
that
do
would have
think
changed
it's
the entire movie up.
honestly didn't like the design of the pillagers all that much. Like I feel
Me
like I would have been
neither.
willing to watch them more if they, like, which is weird because I didn't mind the villager design, but like it felt weirder with the pillagers. Like it
Their
just felt
little
a little like
axes
uncanny.
that
It's
bothered me. What was that?
I
Like I
don't
was like,
yeah,
man,
that's the
you have
thing is
like
because like all the other tools have been to proportion. Like I did notice that too, but like yeah, just their faces too, just looks really uncanny, like to the point where it almost felt uncomfortable. which
I
I mean,
didn't like the
obviously they're
chicken
supposed to be
jockey
creepy, but
scene altogether. I didn't like it, and I hated the baby zombie. I didn't like the face. They did a
yeah.
horrible job with faces.
It's weird because obviously with the zombie it's kind of in a tough situation because the zombies are obviously like supposed to be like zombified Steve pretty much, and they
Mhm.
couldn't just have like Jack Black and like baby Jack Black for like every single zombie around there,
You
but
can't have
it's
a
yeah,
bunch of chubby zombies running around, I
literally.
guess, the overworld.
But it's so weird that like yeah, that he's just like they're wearing the exact same clothes as him, and like with the baby, like the one thing like I didn't think that funny was the scene was all that funny, especially like with when he shouted like chicken jockey. Like I honestly like I said earlier, it's just like when people say like loud things and that's the joke. I don't find it all that funny personally,
Same.
but I did think it was cool when the chicken like detached or the jockey like jumped off the chicken and both the chicken and the jockey were fighting him just because
Yeah.
like in the base game like when the chickens like separated from the zombie it could not care less, but it was
True.
pretty funny how they're like working together like I wrote down like they had a symbiotic relationship in my notes, but
N-
that was actually probably my favorite scene in the movie just because when he hit the baby and the baby started crying, there was a baby in
Okay.
the theater that just like absolutely, because the thing is like my theater had been like I said earlier, it was like really quiet and like people were just kind of keeping like even like laughing quietly, but like when the baby got hit, this baby in the theater just absolutely started bawling
Oh
and just
man.
it was just it actually cracked me up just because of how like unexpected it was.
I just didn't like the zombie faces, honestly.
They did feel a little weird.
But I'm glad you like that scene. I and the Illagers, I wish they would have just yeah, I wish they would have done a little better. I want to see more of the Illagers, honestly. I think they're a super cool concept, and I think they're really underrated when it comes or underutilized, I should say,
Yeah.
in Minecraft. I want to see them expanded on.
You should definitely play Minecraft Dungeons. I'd love to do a playthrough with you at some point because there's so many or illager variants or illager variants. Jesus, and there's and that's when they've pretty much taken over the entirety of the overworld. It's honestly like such a cool story just because of that. But
That is
one,
cool.
that's one thing that I didn't like about the movie is that I don't know if you remember, but as soon as they leave the Woodland Mansion, there's a bunch of piglins outside that are just waiting to capture them.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but the thing is, in Minecraft Legends, which is supposed to be this prequel to everything, the reason that the Illagers like even leave the villagers in the first place to like start their own tribe is because when the piglins attack the overworld for the first time, the Illagers are the or the soon to be Illagers are the ones that actually pick up arms and join the fight, while the other villagers just remain pacifists. And then sort of like after the war ends, they sort of become like jaded to each other, and eventually like that leads to the separation of tribes. But you'd think that
Interesting.
like if they literally left their village because they like believed like obviously like if they picked up weapons like that for this war and the war had ended, like they're keeping the weapons most likely because they think it could happen again. So like these people like they're also like the pillager or the illagers are the most like or magically advanced race, and they also probably the most intelligent too, because like if you look inside their mansions and all that, they have like tons of books and everything laying around. um, it's clear that they're like really knowledgeable and they know a lot more about the world than most people, like even how like with how they react to pale gardens too, like how they'll just run away from it in fear, even though that's something that most of them probably have never encountered. It's so I do think that they have underutilized that, especially like in that one scene. Like obviously, they pillagers and piglins don't attack each other in the base game, but I do think that's just more of a gameplay feature. And I feel like yeah, if their woodland mansion was being surrounded by piglins, much less piglins that are literally blowing up their bridge, like I feel like they would have seen that as an opportunity to attack. And I was honestly really disappointed when they didn't join the fight at the end with when it was pretty much the Iron Golem army. I do think
Yeah.
that was like a big missed opportunity.
No, yeah, that's a really good point that you just made that I wouldn't have thought about. And honestly, I think there's a few things like that that they just rushed through that could have been thought out a little bit better. I think they'll probably get a lot of feedback from this. I mean, obviously they are doing great, so they don't really have a reason to change their narrative, but hopefully they'll listen to feedback. I know Mojang's involved with these movies, and Mojang has always done a really good job, in my opinion, of listening to feedback from the community. So hopefully that gets passed along, and maybe the next movie will be a little bit more I don't know, have a little bit more depth to it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who
I'm
knows?
hoping they actually make the orb like sentient and like actually more like the orb from the main games or the from canon, because the orb as a character is pretty interesting. Like I was really excited to be seeing the orb in the movie because I thought it would be the same character, because I do think it's one of the most interesting characters in Minecraft canon. So I'm hoping they do at least something with it instead of like leaving it as like a prop that like can kind of do stuff.
I agree with you. Um, I've got about 15 minutes left because we're about to hit the 2-hour mark, and that's about
Oh,
as far
jeez.
as this goes. I would like to ask you this and then move on briefly to what you sent me, kind of tap into these merchandise.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we'll have time today to get into the add-ons, but we might be able to get into the McDonald's add-on and merch. But before we move on to that real quick, um, I want to ask you, what would you overall give this movie on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the best?
I think I'd give it a 7. Like it's obviously I think my perspective isn't really like as important because like I'm not a kid and I'm someone
Yeah.
that like knows all the Minecraft lore. So like even like I feel like a casual player would enjoy it more. It's like I guess I was just expecting more Spall references, and when I didn't see them, I was a little disappointed. But at the same time, like I do think like it's a lot higher rating than I would have expected to give it. So I was pleasantly surprised.
I I'm glad to hear that, and I can agree with you on that statement of that. I was pleasantly surprised because my rating, I will say, for I gave it an 8 out of 10, but that was based on a from my for for its target audience. I think it did well, so that's
Mm.
based on that, and its target audience being children. I think, and I'm judging that based off the energy of the theater. Everybody loved it, so I give it 8 out of 10 in that aspect. As an adult, I'm going to give it a solid 5, 5 to 6. The only thing that captivated me about this movie was this, I just want to see all the objects, and the storyline was so base to me that I gave up on it, and I didn't really care during the movie. I was like, okay, this is so simple. It's not even about this story. I just want to see what's going on. I want to see the props. I want to see the scenery. I want to see how close they get this to the game that I love and have a podcast over. And
Oh yeah.
so I love the props. Good job. I love the outfits of the villagers. I think they did a great job with the villagers. The characters, the garbage man was my favorite. The rest, even Steve, very base, very base. Other than that, good job, Warner Brothers and Mojang. You made a successful movie, and it doesn't matter, in my opinion. You're going to probably make $1 billion off this. So great job. I recommend, it's worth seeing, especially if you have kids. I would say take your kids to it, and I think they'll love it. I think it's great if you've never even played Minecraft. I think it's a good introduction to it.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
so yeah, I don't have any hate towards the movie. And if you would ask me about this movie before I went to see it, well, you can go listen to my past episodes, the ones with my brother. I gave horrible reviews in anticipation to this movie. Like I was not in favor for it. I so it
I
has
want
drastically changed for me. It's
yeah.
a huge improvement. So good job.
They did
Now
put a
let
lot of money into fundraising for this game. I would like to briefly talk about like a few of the promotions that they did, because obviously there's so many of them, and obviously we
yeah,
don't have
go
time.
ahead.
But the Bedrock Live event, which is still going on, but by the time that this recording is published, it's going to be over. But with that,
When
it
is
was
that?
based in the
When's it in, NightSteak?
it ends on Monday. It's like the 7th or the 8th, maybe. I don't even
Okay.
know. So it's definitely going to be over by the time this episode's posted. But with that, you could have earned the Urine Cape, which is one of the 3 capes with Jack Black's face on it. There was also a few
Nice.
other like character creator cosmetics, like Boots of Swiftness, which I thought was pretty cool. That was made by Spark Universe, who also made the Minecraft movie DLC and movie add-on, which are 2 free additional packs that you can get in the Microsoft Market or the Minecraft Marketplace.
That's really cool.
Also,
Do you have those?
sorry, I got both of them to check out to see if they added any content or anything from the movie that I could talk about.
Hmm.
Um, they were sort of interesting, especially the add-on. I definitely would recommend you checking that out.
What'd you
And
like about
anyone,
it?
It's honestly because they added so many new piglin variants, like seen from the movie mostly. But
Hmm.
like I think there were some more original ones too, like spear piglins and all that. I think they did a really good job of that, and they added some new like weapons too, like the buckchuckers from the game. I think that was pretty well done, and they
Oh
used
yeah,
that. They used like the same textures for that stuff in both the live event because the live event was made by the same devs, and the DLC they used the same textures for. So I thought that was pretty neat. Also, for anyone that bought their ticket on Fandango for opening weekends, they will be getting a the Fandango Jetpack add-on in their email, and that's pretty much a add-on which adds the Henry's Jetpack, and that's also available as a character creator item if you did the quest for the Urn Cape.
that's cool. I should have bought my ticket on Fandango.
Yeah, no, they didn't talk about it much, but I'm sure codes will be going around for a couple bucks each for people that don't actually play the game.
And
Besides
do you?
that, there's the Lava Chicken add-on, and then
Yeah.
the McDonald's add-on, which I wanted or you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and talk about the lava chicken add-on a wee bit.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
played around with that?
so the lava chicken I also had the chance to test it out like a couple days before I think on Friday I got to check it out, and that's pretty simple. That was actually the first promotion that they released for the movie. That was back in November, I think. And all it does pretty much is it gives you the chicken like as soon as you load into the game, and if you
Nice.
eat it, like it starts giving like a whistling kettle sound effect, and then you just start running around leaving a trail of fire behind you. Not all
That's
that
funny.
interesting, but yeah, it's a cool little reference.
That is cool. And the McDonald's, let's start with the toys. You've been collecting these, right?
So I've only gone once. I ended up getting the potion from they're calling it the adult meal, like
Uh-huh.
adult happy meal, which I think is a little ridiculous, but it's the stuff that you get from that, like the toys or collectibles, they're a lot higher quality than normal like plastic junk McDonald's usually releases. So I do think they're actually worth collecting, but I'm not going to be going to McDonald's 6 times to get them. I'm just going to wait a couple months and then maybe when a lot comes for cheap on eBay from some employee that stole them or whatever, I'll go for that. But yeah, I'm
That's
not.
in You have the soda potion, right?
Yeah, that's you
I saw
so with
that.
all of those, you'll be getting a related skin that's sort of based on the thing. So there's like a soda
Uh,
skin for the soda potion. I'm holding it
That's
right now.
cool.
It's honestly really well designed and the plastic's like pretty good quality too. But
Nice.
also there's one called the Fry helmet, and the only difference there is you'll get a character creator item instead of a full skin. So that allows for further customization.
I saw that. Okay, I have a list here. I see the zombie hamburglers, an adult one, the grimace egg, birdie wings, those are adult, fry helmet, like you just mentioned, the soda potion, which you have, and there's a Big Mac crystal.
Yeah, that one I want the most. I'm hoping I pull that soon.
That one does
It's
look cool. But I also, honestly, I did really like the soda potion. I wanted that one as well.
It's yeah, honestly, it's really good quality. It's probably one of the best ones there. But
That's
one
pretty
thing
cool.
that's pretty important for anyone that's trying to get the meal, if you want to get the McDonald's add-on, which I'll talk about in a minute, what you have to do is you have to go onto the McDonald's app and you have to order it through the app. And but before that, you also have to like opt into emails. You can just opt out right after. But once you opt into the marketing emails or whatever, you can then like they'll send it to you like right as you order the meal. And honestly, I didn't even know this until after I bought the meal. So what I did was I just contacted McDonald's customer service. I said, "Oh yeah, I kind of messed this up. Can I get the code?" And they just sent me it anyway. So that wasn't too big
Nice.
of a deal. But
Nice. No,
the
that's all
add-on
good
itself,
information.
yeah, the add-on itself, like I think it only comes with the adult meal, with that like same like ordering ahead of time. But it's kind of weird because it's released as a promotion for the Minecraft movie, but like it's pretty much the only promotion that has nothing to do with the Minecraft movie whatsoever. There's another one called like Aoterra New Zealand, which sort of talks about the locations that the movie was shot in. But with this add-on, it's like completely disconnected. Like it's just got McDonald's themed stuff like sentient burgers, and they have the zombie hamburglar running around too.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
honestly it feels like really cheap. It's made by different devs than Spark Universe, who made most of these add-ons promotions. So it does feel a little cheap, but it's like I mean you're not getting it for free, but like you're getting it for next to free. I mean most people don't even know that they get it with the meal. So it's interesting, maybe for a few couple minutes of fun.
Nice, nice. No, that's cool. That's all very helpful information too. I wouldn't have known about the app. I probably would just walked into McDonald's or gone through the drive-through and been like, ordered something, been like, hey, where's my Where's my Minecraft toy?
Yeah,
No, that's really good. And I have to say now, we're at the conclusion of the show. Do you have any last thing you would like to say? And if so, also, where can we find you, NightSteak?
Oh yeah. You can reach out to me at Reddit anytime. That's my username, NightSteak. Night as a night, steak is in the food. And yeah, I'm honestly like free to like talk to you pretty much anytime if you have any questions about lore or anything like that. I honestly love talking about this movie. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they put out soon because, like you're saying, there's most definitely gonna be a sequel.
Yeah, you're on Twitter now, X. You have
Oh yeah.
You have a Reddit account as well, don't you?
I think on Twitter I'm NightSteak9, but on Reddit I'm just NightSteak. So yeah, you can find me on
Nice.
either of those places.
I'm going to get those accounts and I'll post those as links in the show description of this episode so you can all click on that and go visit NightSteak and harass him there. I'm joking about the harassing. Don't do that. Don't do that. But no, it's been a pleasure, NightSteak, as usual. I know that we've already recorded, and so your first recording's actually coming out next Thursday, which, folks, you don't want to miss that. Listen next Thursday because NightSteak's the owner of the biggest museum in the oldest SMP Minecraft server on Earth.
Y'all better not miss out on this, especially if you listen to other people's interviews. Do not skip mine. Not optional.
Yeah, don't skip this one. It's super cool. Yeah, super cool, super informational. You'll learn a lot from it. It's really awesome. So yeah, check that out.
Show, dude.
What's that?
I was sorry. I was just saying, like, yeah, thanks for having me on the show, dude. Like,
Hey,
this has always been such an honor. And
no,
yeah,
it's awesome. I'm happy you can come on. You provide a lot of information. You're very knowledgeable about this game, and you're super helpful in analyzing this movie with me today. Thank you so much for coming on to Realm News, NightSteak.
Pleasure's all mine.
Well, I'll see you soon. I'm sure you're no stranger to the show now, so you'll be back, I'm sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
See you, man.
Take care.
Bye. Hey, Realm News fans, it's your host, the Dark Lord, the one who puts the real in realm and expands your mind one block at a time. I am here to tell you that your support means everything. Spread the word by telling friends, liking, and commenting on Spotify or Good Pods. Find me on X, Blue Sky, Reddit, or via email at bio.link/realm news. For more content, join my Patreon at the Copper Diamond tier or VIP for early episodes, bonus content, newsletters, and ebooks. Find out more at bio.link/realm news. No pressure though. Just keep listening, liking, and sharing. That's more than enough. Happy crafting, and see you at the next Realm News.